this magnetic field. Different types of metals and different size objects have their own characteristic disruptive signature. This identifying signature is received by the smaller inside loop and is then transferred to the detector's microprocessor for interpretation. So, in order to detect an object, it must pass within the range of this smaller inner coil. With experience in the field, you will learn of the never-ending variety of metal objects, a variety of shapes, sizes, types, and even degrees of oxidation from years buried in the soil. To help you identify this variety of buried objects, the Pioneer 505 is equipped with a target and depth display. The top scale specifically identifies many common items. First, all iron objects, regardless of size, like this bolt, have a low tone and light up the iron foil indicator. Foil gives the same reading. A nickel induces the same low tone, but indicates one segment to the right. Next, the pull tab, we hear a medium tone, and the newer post-1982 penny, made of zinc, also induces a medium tone. Older copper pennies, like this Wheatie, induce a high tone, as do the dime, a quarter, the half-dollar piece, and finally, a silver dollar. Objects other than coinage will light up the same arrows, but are more accurately identified along the gold to silver spectrum. Let's try these objects. 2 gold rings, one a smaller woman's wedding band, the other a medium-sized gold ring, a brooch, and this watch. Gold can register anywhere on the left side of the scale, depending on its size. Our smaller gold ring registers on the second segment, and the larger ring, one segment to the right. The brooch is a good size object, but by its reading, we can tell that it contains no gold as it registers all the way to the iron foil scale. Finally, we'll try the watch. This watch gives many different readings, so it is probably a composite of silver and other non-precious metals. Now that we understand the basics of metal detecting, let's go in the field and put the detector to use. The fastest way to get started using your Pioneer 505 is with the discrimination mode. First, hold the detector comfortably with the coil just above the surface of the ground, and with the disc knob turned all the way down, 100% counterclockwise. Then, turn the detector on, move the sensitivity knob to the 3 o'clock position. Finally, press the disc touchpad, and you are ready to enjoy the most popular metal detecting applications. Sweep the search coil slowly from side to side, overlapping each sweep as you advance. It is important to sweep the coil using the correct technique. Always maintain a consistent speed as you sweep from side to side. It is very important to keep the coil parallel to the ground at all times. Do not lift the coil at the end of your sweeps. Do not sweep the coil like a pendulum. This can cause false readings and false targets. As you sweep, the detector is constantly calculating the ground's mineral content and averaging this calculation over time. A consistent coil speed at a consistent height from the ground lets the electronics scan the ground accurately and consistently to cancel out the Earth's naturally occurring minerals and only respond to the presence of buried metal objects. The correct setting of the sensitivity knob is also very important. In any of the 3 motion modes, the sensitivity knob must be adjusted to ground balance the detector. Ground balancing adjusts the detector to the Earth so that the detector ignores and sees through the Earth's naturally occurring minerals. If your detector emits non-repeatable signals like this, Simply reduce the sensitivity knob until the false signaling disappears. Your detector will work well with the sensitivity knob in the 2 or 3 o'clock position. You want to position the knob as high as you can without receiving false signals. This position will vary from time to time depending on the condition of the ground you hunt. You might encounter highly mineralized soil on beaches, in some mountainous areas, in the desert, or in gold prospecting locations. The motion discrimination modes are best suited for coin shooting, jewelry hunting, and searching trashy areas like parks and ball fields. And remember, for motion all-metal detection, press the discrimination button and keep the disc notch knob off. Our final tip on motion detection is the pinpointing technique. Once you've detected a target, make sure that it induces a repeatable tone by passing over it a few times. Notice the coil's line of travel, then move your stance, pass the coil at 90 degrees, and create an X, which pinpoints the target in the center of the small coil. Refer to the depth indicator to know how deep to dig, and carefully remove the soil to locate your find. Congratulations! Don't forget to fill in the hole. The no motion all metal mode is a bit more difficult to use than the motion discrimination modes. No motion all metal mode is the deepest seeking mode. The detector automatically enters the all metal mode when you turn the detector on. To operate in the all metal mode, first turn the detector on, hold the search coil still over the ground and press the ground track button. Scan the ground to make sure that the spot you chose did not contain metal. The detector has now calculated a fixed ground balance setting. As you search, you can periodically retune the detector by pressing the ground track button again. If you start detecting by moving from one temperature environment to another, for instance, if you take your detector outside into a hotter or colder environment, you will have to retune your detector several times until the coil temperature stabilizes, for 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the temperature change. After your coil reaches equilibrium, no adjustment is necessary, but you may periodically readjust if desired. The no motion mode is useful in outlining the shape of larger objects and can also be useful in pinpointing smaller objects. All metal detection is best for relic hunting, cache hunting, and household applications like finding property markers and lost items. Many great finds are located underwater or on wet terrain, so all bounty hunter search coils are completely waterproof. You can submerge the coil and stem completely into water with no loss of sensitivity or functionality. The case and case-to-cable connection must, however, be kept dry at all times. Just as your detector can react to electromagnetic interference inside your home, also beware of outdoor electromagnetic interference. Stay clear of power lines, both overhead and buried. They emit their own electromagnetic fields. Be very careful not to dig into buried utility lines. A final treasure hunting tip: don't get discouraged if you don't strike gold every time you dig. Some trash items can be difficult to distinguish from more valuable metals. Using the LCD display and 3-tone target ID, you will minimize the digging of trash items. Even the most experienced treasure hunters always experience a trash-to-treasure ratio. With practice and experience, you will learn more about metals and learn to reduce your trash-to-treasure ratio and get the most enjoyment possible from your bounty hunter metal detector.